Welcome at the ninth edition of the Prague European Summit, the event which is located in the heart of Europe and which converges to address the pivotal challenges which are shaping our continent's future. My name is Aneta Zachová and I'm Editor-in-Chief of Euractiv Czech Republic, and I'm also Program Coordinator of this year's Prague European Summit and the main moderator. So you will see me quite often here at the stage presenting panels which are coming, let's say. This year's Prague European Summit is being held under the umbrella title Reshaping Europe Towards Greater Resilience Amid Global Crisis. So we will focus on the resilience which is currently tested but also refined amidst the winds of change we are observing in the world. Throughout the summit, we will engage in panel discussions and chats to discuss three main interlocking thematic circles: economic resilience, political resilience, and forward resilience. The aim is clear: to have open discussion, to share our visions, ideas, to deepen our knowledge, and also to share our concerns, and hopefully to find some solutions and some foresight for the future. Prague European Summit so far has connected thousands academics, politicians, NGOs, businesses and representatives of other stakeholders to discuss various political issues and trends. This year, we also are very happy that we can continue with our esteemed tradition, bestowing the Vision for Europe Award, which is celebrating those personalities whose ideas and activities actually shape Europe. So for sure, stay with us till the evening, because at 9 o'clock p.m., at 9:10, we will celebrate this ceremony. Last year, Karel Schwarzenberg was awarded with Vision for Europe Award. And maybe you noticed that downstairs we prepared a condolence book, so you can sign the book, which will be later given to family of unfortunately deceased Karel Schwarzenberg. What else is awaiting us when it comes to Prague European Summit? Besides discussions that are taking place here, this year, again, part of the Prague European Summit is the Future European Leaders Forum, which is gathering young people from the whole Europe to, let's say, boost their skills via workshops and other activities. And tomorrow these two events will merge, because you will have the possibility to actually listen and engage with this group of young people who are participating in the Future European Leaders Forum. Let me also point out that the success of this event is attributed to two leading Czech think tanks, the Institute of International Relations and the European Institute for European Policy, who organize Prague European Summit in collaboration with the Office of the Government of the Czech Republic, representation of the European Commission in the Czech Republic, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, Hans Seidel Stiftung, European Investment Bank, and City of Prague. We would also like to thank to our main partners, Mercedes-Benz Praha and Institut Français, for their support, as well to other partners, which names you can find on your badge or on the corridor on roll-ups. So now I think we have all taken our seats. I can see that the golden hall of this beautiful Liechtenstein Palace is already full of people, not only speakers, but audience, which is well known about all the events all the issues we will discuss during this afternoon. So I hope you will enjoy the Prague European Summit. And before we start with discussions, I would like to invite here to the floor representative of the government of the Czech Republic and also representatives of the mentioned two leading institutions which are actually organizing Prague European Summit. So let me invite here Mr. Tomáš Dub, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, and also I would like to invite to take seats Mr. Mats Braun, Director of Institute of International Relations, and Martin Vokálek, Executive Director of European Institute for European Policy, for their opening words of welcome. As a first, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Dub. So please, Deputy Minister, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here today and welcome you to the second day of the Prague European Summit. I am convinced that today will be full of inspiring ideas and constructive dialogues about the future of Europe. As you can see, I am not the Minister for European Affairs, Martin Dvořák. Unfortunately, Martin was unable to attend today's conference due to illness. However, I should tell you that he apologizes very much and sends his regards. Let me begin by emphasizing the important contributions of the Prague European Summit. In its 9 years of existence, the summit has emerged as a unique and vital platform in Central and Eastern Europe, focused on the European Union. It has become a space where dialogues with the highest levels of European public and non-governmental sphere take place. The importance of this summit cannot be overstated, as it continues to foster a rich exchange of ideas and perspectives. At the core of the Prague European Summit lies the essence of public diplomacy, a dynamic force that becomes even more critical in the time of global crisis. Resilience, as we navigate the complexities of today's challenges, is not only a quality we seek in our policies, but a mindset that public diplomacy helps cultivate. It's the art of fostering understanding, building bridges between cultures, and creating a space for open dialogue, all of which are essential in building a more resilient Europe. We must not forget that diplomacy matters. It is the heart and soul of international relations. It is the art of finding common ground, resolving conflicts, and building enduring connections. In a world where cooperation is vital, diplomacy becomes the vehicle through which we navigate the difficult web of global challenges. As such, it plays an important role in our security ecosystem. From climate change to economic uncertainties, the need for effective diplomacy is not just desirable, it's crucial. The Prague European Summit stands as a testament to the importance of diplomatic efforts in shaping a world where cooperation triumphs over disagreement. Prague European Summit, over the years, has become more than just an annual event. It's a symbol of commitment to promote partnership and understanding. Its unique focus on the European Union in Central and Eastern Europe makes it a pivotal player in shaping regional discourse. I encourage each of you to actively participate, exchange thoughts, and contribute to a collective vision for a more resilient Europe. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to numerous enthralling panels and interesting discussion, which is attended. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, colleagues, honored speakers, I'm happy to see so many people in this room today. The title of this conference is Reshaping Europe Towards Greater Resilience Amid Global Crisis. Reshaping Europe. We will talk a lot during this conference about the future of the European Union and also Europe at large. Resilience. Resilience has been a buzzword for the last few years. Some would perhaps even say that we use the term resilience a little bit too often lately. However, if we look at the many crises we have gone through during the last decade, We had the Eurozone crisis. We had the so-called migration crisis. We had Brexit as a crisis of European integration. We had a crisis of democracy, not the least here in Central Europe. We have had the crisis of a pandemic, COVID, even if I think many of us have kind of forgotten about that already. And of course, right now, we have Russia's war against Ukraine. A war that actually has been ongoing for almost a decade by now. Of course, taking on quite different proportions since February last year. And as that wouldn't be enough of crisis, I haven't mentioned yet the global crisis, existential crisis of our time, that of climate change. So I do think there is a point of still referring back to the term resilience, because I don't really know what other term to use in this context. Even so, though, I would like to focus a little bit more on the term reshaping. Because all those crises that I mentioned, they have in common the need for cooperation, a need for finding new ways of governing within this context of as a changing world. Within this conference, we do not focus on the complete global dimension, but mainly on the European dimension, on the European Union. And we started actually already yesterday in the evening with 2 panel discussions under the name In the Face of War, European Dialogue. And during that evening, among others, different narratives on Europe, in Europe, were being discussed. And of course, narratives are closely related to identity, a concept which often comes close to one of othering, that is defining what we are, what is Europe, which often comes in the context of of saying in a negative terms what it is not, which then, of course, provides the risk of generating differences, creating boundaries, creating borders. However, when it comes to the European Union, the Danish international relations scholar Ole Wever once famously stated that the European Union's other is actually the continent's own past, the brutal war, the Second World War. So defining this organization, this project, in opposition to the horrors of the Second War. And from that perspective, of course, the European Union over the years has been viewed as a success story, a story of reconciliation between Germany and France, a story of building peace. Yet, what does that bring us? Where does that bring us in the context we have today of a full-scale war on European soil? Some would say that it shows the limits of the European Union as a peace project, in the sense that the EU's idea has been about showing that increased interdependence between states can replace the logic of rivalry between states. Has worked for reconciliation within the European Union, but the ambitions have been higher. We have often spoken about the EU leading by example. An academic term, normative power Europe, has also often been articulated by politicians and European commissioners. But perhaps it has not been enough. And for that reason, of course, we hear a lot of talk, and we have heard from the European Commission as well, talk about the European Union as a geopolitical actor. In any case, I think getting back to the theme of the conference here and what we will be discussing during many of our panels here, reshaping Europe. In the face of war, the EU is searching for a new identity and a new relevance. And I think the entire Europe is searching for a new European order, which is something we will address during the conference. We will talk about the future of EU's neighborhood policy. We will talk about the future of enlargement. I mean, just think about it. We might actually have 9 new EU member states by the year 2030, or perhaps even earlier. A radical change of the European Union as an organization. But perhaps it would be an even more radical change of organization if the EU would say no to any of those democratic European states applying for membership. Well, these are some of the topics we will address during this conference. We will, after this opening ceremony, however, start with a panel discussion on sustainable European and global economy. I will not speak any further now. I'm happy to hand over the microphone to Martin Wokalek, who is the director of a partner institution here, Europeum. Please, Martin.
Thank you much, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Good afternoon, and thank you for being with us on the Prague European Summit. Already since its first edition in 2015, the summit aims to be an instrumental platform designed to address pan-European challenges and stimulate constructive discussions. Our collective mission is clear: to set the trends for the future of the European Union, strengthening the global role, while simultaneously constructing a sustainable and resilient society. We also strive to connect stakeholders within Czechia and EU, from the state administration, EU institutions, businesses, expert communities, civil society, and the press. Before we delve into 2 days of discussions, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the whole organizational team of the summit, and in the same time to our main partners, whose generous support and participation have made the 9th edition of the Prague European Summit possible. Particularly and namely, it's the Office of the Government of the Czech Republic, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, representation of the European Commission to the Czech Republic, Hans Seidel Stiftung, European Investment Bank, City of Prague, and many others. Our partners are driving force behind this gathering, and we deeply value our commitment to fostering dialogue and collaboration. In the same breath, I would also like to take a moment to commemorate a great statesman who embodied the values of all of us here share, Mr. Karel Schwarzenberg, the late Minister of Foreign Affairs, Senator, and Chancellor of the President Václav Havel. Mr. Schwarzenberg's dedication to diplomacy and his vision for a united Europe have left an enduring impact, not only in the Czech Republic, but in the whole continent. His legacy continues to inspire us. It was with his great honor that at last year's summit, in this very same room, we could present Karel Schwarzenberg with the Vision for Europe Award, a tribute to his enduring influence on the European narrative. This award symbolizes the spirit of leadership, vision, and a dedication to a united Europe and continuous work towards these ideals, which he truly embodied all his life. Allow me to share with you a quote from Karel Schwarzenberg's speech after receiving the award 1 year ago, and I quote, "If we stay a united Europe, where we can depend on each other, where neighbors and friends will help each other and resist external influence, it gives us a greater chance not to repeat the sad history of the last 100 years. I see the difficulties and problems of a united Europe, but it is more resilient, more resistant to new accidents of history and to new waves of stupidity, which can always happen in the human race." End of quote. In embracing the challenges and opportunities before us, let us draw inspiration from Mr. Schwarzenberg's wisdom as we engage in the dialogue in the upcoming days. Let it be infused with the spirit of unity, resilience, and shared commitment to shaping a Europe that learns from its history and builds a future of strength and cooperation. And to honor Mr. Schwarzenberg's legacy here, I would like to kindly ask you, instead of a moment of silence, honor him with a moment of great applause he truly deserves for his unselfish and endless effort to make Czechia and Europe a better place for us. With a gratitude for your presence and a deep appreciation for the legacy we honor today, let us continue the journey of collaboration and dialogue at this year's Prague European Summit, which we now declare officially opened. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your opening words. I would like to now ask you to take the seats in the audience, as we can now start with the discussions that what we are here for. Let me remind you that in this Golden Hall, we will see a panel discussion towards a more sustainable and prosperous European and global economy through trade and investments. And those of you who registered for the closed roundtable focusing on countering disinformation, this event is taking place at 2 o'clock in the Kampa room, which is just behind the corner. So who registered for this closed roundtable, please, you can take seats in this dedicated Kampa room, which is just behind the corner. Let me also remind you that you can join Slido application this afternoon. You can find it at slide.do and use hashtag PES 2023. You can see the hashtag and the instructions here and also in your materials you received at the entrance. So stay engaged and ask questions and give us your comments via this application.